Hello, and welcome to Mini Shop's How to Sculpt videos with myself, Elizabeth. Today we're going to be making a little pot. What you're going to need is some clay, a terracotta color or a clay color. I use Sculpey clay, and this is pottery, this is raw Sierra, but they have different colors. A dirt color, this is suede brown of Sculpey, but there's also chocolate. There's a bunch of different browns, and this one's leaf green, but you can also use different greens for the foliage and little leaves. You're going to need a potter's needle or a toothpick would be great, a dowel tool or a pen tip, and a bald end, metal bald end, or the other end of the pen will work just fine. What we're going to do is start by taking some clay, about as much as your fingernail, and rolling it into a ball. I'm using the raw Sienna Primo Sculpey clay, which is a little bit harder to work with, so it needs to be warmed up a little more. Otherwise, it'll crack in the oven, which when you spend quite some time on your piece, you don't really want that to happen. So here we go, we've got it all warmed up, and we're going to roll it into a ball. Kind of fold it in on itself, like so, and then move your plant aside. Roll it between the palms, your palms, not the palms. And there you go, you have a ball. What you're going to do now is take probably the ugliest end. Mine has a little crack there, and push down with your finger. See how I've made an indent? I'm going to put my pointer finger on top of the ball and then take my thumb and my other fingers and make it into a cylinder shape, slowly pulling up the sides around my pointer finger. Like so. You can see this has gotten deeper. So we'll continue to do that. Continue, keep rotating it until you've reached a decent depth. Then where you can see it kind of tapers from the top to the bottom. It's smaller on the bottom than it is on the top. Sometimes it may be too big, so you can squish the outside with your fingers to make the top smaller. Just apply pressure on all sides, which now it's more even. You can kind of tell from the video as I drop it. All right. If you want the bottom to be flat, what I like to do is just press it on the ground, swivel it a little bit, and there's the flat base. Now, I suppose you don't need this, but I'll show you with the pen, tip of the pen, we can just indent the bottom. This is if you just want to have the pot by itself, the flower pot by itself, but we're going to fill this with dirt. So now that we have our little base of our pot, we're going to take some more clay, about half as much as we took before. Make sure it's all warmed up, and work it in your fingers. And now we'll roll it into a ball. You can also roll it into a ball between the tips of your fingers. That works too. It's just a little bit wonkier this with bigger pieces of clay. But it's good to do this if you want to create a long string of clay, because you can start to push down and the clay elongates itself. You kind of push and pull. So we make a little snake. When you've got your clay to be about yay tall, we're going to squish it between our fingers to flatten it. Flattening it. And now we're going to take our toothpick, straighten up the edge here, like so, smooth that edge out with your fingers. And then attach it to the top of your little pot, rolling it around the edges like so, like that, and like this. And you can see where you don't want it to overlap, so just make a little line right there, unroll it, and then cut it with a toothpick. You can also use an x-acto knife or any little knife, but just don't use a knife for food afterwards. All right, now that little edge we can smooth down with our fingers. It might take a little time because clay needs some convincing. All right, now we want to make sure the rim of the pot is attached thoroughly to the pot. We're going to pinch, see the seam here? We're going to pinch that up a little bit onto the rim of the pot. Now, if the rim of your pot has gotten wonky, you can also just use your fingers to pinch it into a line, like so. And the top here, you can flatten it again by setting it on the ground, twisting it a little bit, and now we have an even top surface. See, some wonkiness there actually. Okay, that's better. Now, we're going to take our dirt color, take about as much as will fill that little hole, indent there, roll it into a ball, flatten the top like so, and then set it inside your pot. You'll be able to tell if it's too big or too small. But now we have filled our pot with dirt. This is where I prefer now to use this silicone dowel tool, but this part of the pen also works. I want to show you how it works. You can indent like so, or to use your tip of your pen, also just indent like so. That's where the plant is going to go. So, but first, we are going to texture our dirt by taking our toothpick tool and just adding tiny, tiny little dots all around to make it look like actual dirt. Now, the clay I'm using is Sculpey clay, which you bake in the oven at 275 for 15 minutes, unless you're using Sculpey Primo clay, which you bake in the oven at 275 again for 30 minutes. Unless you're using a convection oven, convection ovens cook 30% faster than regular ovens. Excuse me there. But because they can hold the temperature more consistent. But this clay can be baked in just a normal oven, which is what I like about it most. All right, now that we have our dirt textured, we're going to take a little bit of green clay, about maybe 1/8 as much as we took for the dirt, into 2 small little balls. And sometimes when you pull the clay off, it'll just make a perfect leaf shape. But sometimes if not, you can roll it into a ball, pinch the edge, and then squish it down. And then you have leaves. Now we're going to take our little pot and put a leaf in it. And another leaf. I was thinking this could be a succulent, it could be a flower, it could be whatever you want it to be. But I just did this because I like little leaves. It's kind of the budding of spring. Okay, take your toothpick or potter's needle and just slightly indent from the bottom up the leaf, like so. And you have a little potted plant that's blooming. If you'd like to, sign your name on the bottom. And like and subscribe Mini Shop leave a comments, questions down below if there's anything you'd like to see in the future, or if you have more questions about clay. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, guys. Bye.